Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 10th NCERT book, that is our environment. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this chapter. So we started with the chapter the concept of environment, where I told you that environment means the place where we live in. Now if we are living, we need to interact with each other. So when we are interacting with each other, we are interacting with the biotic as well as the abiotic factor. Now if we talk about abiotic factor, it means it is the non-living factors, and then if we talk about the biotic factors, it means it is the living factor. Now when we have talked more about the ecosystem, means interactions of the environment, the very first word which comes in our mind is the ecosystem. So ecosystem also is it is the interaction between the biotic and the abiotic component of the environment. Now there could be different types of ecosystem, like the terrestrial and the aquatic ecosystem. And on the other hand, you could also means you could also tell that there are different types of ecosystem, that is the natural ecosystem and the artificial ecosystem. Okay, in natural ecosystem, the ecosystems where which is already present in the nature, or they are just showing the interaction in the nature by its own, and they sustain their life according to their on their own. Okay, there is no other involvement of the human beings for the sustenance. Now if the ecosystem is, for example, forest ecosystem or the grassland ecosystem, okay, it is the natural ecosystem. Now if we talk about aquarium, crop fields, all these are the artificial ecosystem. Fine. Now artificial ecosystem means it is made with the help of the human beings, where you are involved for its sustenance. So next we discussed about the more interactions in the environment, that is as an example of food chain and food web. So in the last class I have completely discussed about these food chain and food web. So food chain means it is a single pathway, as you could see here at the back side of the picture. It is just a division part, and you can understand that what is the meaning of the word food chain. Food chain is a single representative part. Okay, it has less number of individuals as compared to the food web, whereas this food web is the interconnecting pathways. It is going to tell you about the number of food chains which are running in an ecosystem, and there are chains of food chains of there are many food chains running together. Okay, so food web is going to make is made with the help of various animals, and these animals are more in their number, means as compared to this food chain, food web has more individuals in it. Fine. Now more complex food webs increase the stability of the ecological community. Yes. Why? Because there are lot more options for one animal to eat other animal. As you know that food chain is telling you about, it is the means it works upon the rule of eat and being eaten up. So one animal is the food for the other animal. So if we are seeing this food web, it means that there are lot many food chains working together, and if the food chain is complex, means many food chains are working together on one single animal. It means that one animal is having the more options from others. As if we have talked about the food web, where a rat was there, or you just feel that grains are present or producers are there first. Okay, then this herbivorous animal has to be there, or omnivorous, so it could be rat, for example, or rabbit. So this rat or rabbit could have the different ways by which it could sustain their ecosystem, or it could sustain their life. Now how it is possible that it could sustain their life is that you can you means these animals could have more options. Why? Because many animals are present in that food web. Now if one individual is occupying many trophic levels, it could also sustain the ecosystem very nicely, it could serve the ecosystem very nicely. Okay, so this makes the food web and food chain work to work together with an ecosystem. Okay, now I move on to the first slide, that is telling you about one more word, one more concept of another thing, that is this biological magnification. Now we have talked a little bit about this biological magnification, and why I'm telling this, because in yesterday's class I have also discussed about the types of waste which are being generated in the ecosystem. So it was biodegradable and non-biodegradable. So when the ecosystem is having such types of waste, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable, there some of the chemicals are also used, okay, as, and they are waste. Why they are waste? Because they are used for the benefit of you could say that agriculture, or benefit of the crops. Okay, if you take an example of DDT, which is a chemical, and it is the harmful chemical. Okay, now why it is an harmful chemical, I must tell you. So for this we must study about this particular phenomenon of biological magnification. Now what is the meaning of the word biological magnification? Biological means it is related with life. Okay, it is related with life. And magnification means what? Magnification means it is just the enlargement of something, or it means it is going to increase the size. Now how the size or the enlargement is happening, or the size is being increased? So this here we are talking about the size of this particular toxic harmful chemical. So what does this biological magnification means? It is the increase in the concentration, means the amount of the harmful chemical substances like pesticides in the body of living organism at each trophic levels of a food chain is known as biological magnification. So what is this biological magnification? I think now some idea would yesterday also I have given, and if you combine that idea with this definition, you will surely be understanding the concept of biological magnification. So this biological magnification means it is a way, or it is a process by which the concentration of the harmful chemicals like pesticides are going to increase on each and every trophic level. Now if we talk about the different trophic level, means it is the steps of your food chain. So these are the steps of food chain. Okay, grass, deer and lion, for example, we take a simplest food chain, and now we need to study about the biological magnification. How you are going to study? So we are going to study as we are going to see the trophic levels and what is the level of this DDT in each and every trophic level. As you could see that it was 110 ppm, it was 200 ppm, and it became 5000 ppm in the highest trophic level. Now what is the lowest trophic level here? So the grass is the lowest trophic level. So the grass is the lowest trophic level as it is the producer. Next it becomes consumer. Deer and the lion are the consumers. Now if we see the level of this biological product, I mean this chemical in the biological bodies, like all the living beings, whether it is the grass, whether it is the deer, or it is the lion. So if we see that the concentration of this chemical, what is it inside these animals? So we will find that each and every at each and every trophic level, whether it is grass, deer or lion, it is this chemical has to increase in its concentration. Now how this chemical is getting increased? So this concept or the process by which the level of pesticides or other toxic substances, just remember we are only talking about the harmful substances, okay, we are not talking about the good things. We are talking about a bad product, that is the harmful substance. That could be a chemical, that could be the pesticide, insecticide, or any other you could say, okay. So it could be any chemical. Now what happens, how this increase in the level of the concentration of the pesticide is happening in each trophic level? Why this is happening? This is happening just because that the grass, suppose that one crop is there, instead of writing grass, if we write crop, then it would be much more easily be understandable. Now I must say that if crop is present, now that crop yield will be increased just to add by adding pesticides or insecticide in the fertilizers. Okay, so if we are adding harmful, and you know that chemicals are always harmful for the plants, whether it is insecticide, whether it is pesticide, whether it is a fertilizer. So when the chemicals are present, then it has to yield, the crop yield will be increased if we are using these chemicals. Everybody knows this. Okay, so fertilizers are there, which these, when these fertilizers are added to the soil, then what happens, the crop yield increases. But what about the chemical which we are adding to that soil? Whether, what will happen to it, whether it is going to be present there or not. Now what happens if the this crop land or this field is just related with the water body, or this is present just nearby to the water body. Now once it is present near the water body, what happens, this if rain happens, or if we are continuously irrigating the field, and that water which is coming out from the field or in the form of runoff, what will happen to it? It is going and meeting in that water body. Okay, suppose that crops are there and here one water body is there. Now if you're irrigating the field, then what happens, the water is going to come inside, it is going to flow in this water body. Okay, whether it is a pond or lake or something. Okay, if it is coming and running through and it is coming inside that water body, then what happens, the chemicals are also coming, these chemicals will be entering in this pond, okay, in this water body. Now you know that in just beside these ponds some animals will come, or you could say the fish will be present in that pond, or other animals will be present in that pond. Okay, now what happens, some animal comes over there to drink water, and if it finds that some grass is present, or some crop is present, or anything, any plant product is present, plants are present, suppose that, so this plant will be eaten up by the goat. Okay, for example, if we take a goat, it is going to eat up this plant product, and you see that water is also present nearby. If this animal, which is an herbivore, which is a herbivore, now what happens to this herbivore, this is going to eat this grass and drink the water from the pond. Now from two levels, from two sides, from two ways, the chemical is increasing inside that herbivorous animal. Why? The chemicals were already present in this crop. Now, and that runoff has made this pond also dirty. Okay, so the runoff has made the pond also dirty with the chemical, which is full of chemicals. Now what happens, once the pond and that animal is going to eat and drink water, eat the crop, crop remains and drink water. Now from two levels the herbivorous animal is receiving this harmful substance. So what happens, this has increased. For example, if deer was there, so this deer was eating this grass, or and why we will add insecticide in this grass, we are not adding insecticide in this grass, please remember, we are not adding pesticides, we are not adding DDT in the grass, we have already added the pesticides and insecticides or the fertilizers in the crop fields. And because crop field has already been yielded, means it has been harvested, now we are only left with the plain field, and if inside that field grasses grow, then what will happen, that DDT is already present in that soil, it is not going to die, it is not going to be over from that soil, it is not going to be dissolved in the soil, it is already being present in it, and it is going to remain there for long years. Now till the time the grass is growing over there, the DDT is entering in the grass body. Okay, it is entering inside the parts of the grass. Now what happens if this deer is eating this grass which is full of DDT? So this DDT will reach to that deer's body. Okay, now if you feel that this deer will be eaten up by the lion, then what happens, this deer which has already eating grass and drinking water from the water body which was present nearby this grassland or nearby the area which is being affected by the pesticide, then what will happen to it? From two ways this deer or the herbivorous animal is receiving the toxic substance. Now this has already been increased in this part. Now once this has been increased in the part, it is going to increase from the lion also, or it could be if the omnivorous animal is there, again the deer was having 200 ppm, that is parts per million. ppm stands for parts per million. So this ppm is a if this 200 ppm is present, then if this lion is eating it, it becomes 5000. Why? Because it is not only eating the deer, it is also eating the other animals, please remember. And if the animals are eating grass from the same place where the DDT was added, so the grass is already full of DDT, which is going to be eaten up by as many as animals. It is going to affect the lion. Lion is not only eating one deer, it has to eat 4-5 deers, okay, for example. So 4-5 example, if you take 4 deer for this lion to complete its it is eating up. So what happens? It is going to be fixed in this lion as 5000 ppm. It will be added to the body of the lion. It is going to enter inside the body of the lion with 5000 ppm, okay. So this has already been increased. Now no other person is left to eat this lion, so it is going to remain in the highest trophic level. In the highest means the quantity of that substance will always be highest in the highest trophic level. Why? Because it has to eat, drink, and it will not only eat one animal, it is going to eat several animals, but all these animals will have the DDT inside it, okay. So this lion is having the highest amount of the toxic substance. So this level goes on increasing. This level of the toxicity goes on increasing as we are moving from lower to higher trophic levels. Just because of it, this increase in the level is known as biological magnification. So maximum concentration is found in the human beings, in the human body, because we are eating the plant product also, we are eating the animal product also, we are drinking the water also. So from 3-4 ways we are getting these types of chemicals from many other ways. So just because of it, the human will have more concentration of these pesticides and the toxic substances in their body. That is known as biological magnification, okay. Now if you have understood the word biological magnification, I'll move on to the next slide, which also shows you the example which is telling you what is biological magnification, okay. So this biological magnification means, see, as you could see in this diagram very easily. Yes, so this picture is showing you about the biological magnification in the pictorial way. So if the animals are present where DDT is there, okay, pesticide is a dichloro, DDT stands for dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane, okay, or organochlorides are there. So what happens? This is going to increase in the next trophic level. How? These animals are having the toxic substance in it, and these animals are more in number. Now what happens? It is going to be eaten up by the small fish. The small fish is not going to eat up only 1 or 2 phytoplanktons, zooplanktons or phytoplanktons. It is going to eat several phytoplanktons and the zooplanktons, okay. So that animal will have increased amount of the pesticide in their body. Now the more big fish is there, that fish is going to eat several small fishes. So if it is eating several small fish, then what will happen to it? The toxic substance is going to increase in the body of a big fish. Now once the increase in the body of the big fish is there, then if suppose that fish is being eaten up by a certain other animal or other bird or anything which could eat that or could predate it could prey upon it, then what happens? It is going to be increased in the highest trophic level. Just remember, so this hawk is going to have the highest concentration of DDT, okay. Now I move on to the next slide and the next topic, that is ecological pyramids. Now what are ecological pyramids? Now after this biological magnification, I must tell you that there are some more ways for representing the food chain and the food web, okay. Now if you go on to the way by which this pyramid is going to be made, that will be more complex, I think. That is why I have given you the very simple way by which you could understand what you mean by ecological pyramids. So ecological means it is the interaction, and what about pyramids? Pyramids are just the shape of the triangle, or you could say that these are the 3D structure of the triangle. So these pyramids are the graphical representation of what? Of the trophic levels. Okay, so if we are making the ecological pyramid, it means that we are just representing the three levels, that is producer, consumers and the decomposers, or you just say that we are representing that food chain in the form of this ecological pyramids. Okay, so pyramids are nothing but they are just the triangular shape structure with a broad base. Okay, so the pyramids could be made with the broad base. Okay, so these ecological pyramids are just the graphical representation of the trophic levels. Now that could be of different types: pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass, and pyramid of energy. So these are the three types of pyramids, that is the number, biomass and energy. What is the ecological pyramid going to give you in the information? The information which is given by this ecological pyramid is just very similar to the information which is given by the food chain and the food web. Okay, so if we talk about the food chain and the food web, it could be represented in a very simple way, like in the form of chain, or it could be represented in the form of these pyramids. Okay, so there are three types. We will just go on to the first type, that is the pyramid of number. As it suggests, what information we are going to take up to form the pyramids? We are going to take up the number. Now which number? The number of producer, the number of the consumers. Okay, we will just add up the number of consumers and the producers for finding out for making the pyramid of number. So it is a graphical representation of the number of individuals per unit area of various trophic levels. What does this definition says? The definition of pyramid of number says that it is a graphical representation of the number of individuals present in the particular area. Okay, so if we are talking about the producer, it will be at the base. Just remember, we will always draw the pyramid by adding producer at the base. Now if producer is very less, we are going to invert this pyramid. If the pyramid is drawn in this way, for example, if the pyramid is drawn in a straight way, just like which is drawn over here, so the pyramid is said to be upright. Okay, and if the pyramid is drawn like this, it is said to be as inverted. The pyramid is inverted. Okay, and also the things which are important to draw the pyramid is that we always take only two levels. First one is the producer level and the second one is the consumer level. So if we take up the producer level, it is always written at the base, then the consumers will be written according to it. So producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer and tertiary consumer. Okay, so this is what is about the different ways of the pyramids. Okay, different types of the pyramids where the graphical representation of the trophic level is going to be there. So pyramid of number, pyramid of biomass and pyramid of energy is always being present. Okay, and this could be very easily be told and it could be represented. Now I again move on to this slide which shows you the pyramid of number. As it is the graphical representation, we will always take the producer at the base. Okay, and then we are going to move just up one by one. There is no need to draw an arrow in between. Okay, this is a position which is showing you the upright position, and this upright triangle is going to tell you that energy is moving in the forward direction, in the upward direction where the food chain is processing. So if we take producer, then the second level will be occupied by the primary consumer. That means it is the herbivore. Okay, then it will be taken up by the second level, that will be carnivore, and the third will be the top carnivore or the quaternary consumers. Fine. So what is the way by which you could add up, you could see the graphical representation in various trophic levels? The large number of producers that tend to form the base. Okay, so if the base is drawn, it is always drawn in the form of, it is always, so if we take up the producers, this will be taken up at the base. Why? Because producers are more in number. If producers are more in number, then it will be drawn at the base. Now if we talk about the next levels, we will always, it will always be added with the next, that is the primary consumer, the secondary and the tertiary consumers. Okay, and the trophic levels will be drawn just one above the another, and this is understood that the energy or the flow of the energy is taking place in the upward direction. Okay, now I move on to the next slide. And yes, one more thing is that lower the number of top carnivore, it occupies the top. It means the lowest number of the individual will be the tertiary carnivores or the tertiary consumers or top carnivores. So producers are largest in number, so they are at the base. Then as soon as the number is keeps on decreasing, so the decreased number of the individuals will be added just above one another, above the producers. At the top, you can see that the triangle is tapering. The triangle has a very small space in it, so it is going to show you the individual which is very less in number, means it is least in number, not the less, they are the least in number. So least in number will always be the tertiary consumers or the quaternary consumers. Okay, so this is about the pyramid of number. Okay, now if I move on to the next slide, I'll tell you some more types of pyramids, that is the pyramid of number. Again, see, yes, it is one more example which is showing you the shape of the pyramid. If we are talking about the shape, then what happens? Then this pyramid is going to show you the way by which you could just see that how the animals, how the level, how the number of individual is going to decrease when we move on to the when we are moving on towards this pyramid. Okay, so what happens? The shape of the pyramid varies from ecosystem to ecosystem. Why? Because number of individuals are increasing and decreasing according to the ecosystem. So in aquatic ecosystem, the grassland communities are there, autotrophs are present in large number. But if we talk about aquatic system, it is just going to be inverted. And number in pyramids of number could be in the upright or in the inverted form, please remember. So it is based upon the number of producer. The producer will be at the base, then zooplanktons, then phytoplanktons, then the small fish, then the large fish. Okay, so these plants are the phytoplanktons or diatoms or the algae. So lesser the number of herbivores and fewer the carnivores, because already the food is less, means carnivores food is the herbivorous animal. So the herbivorous animal is very less in number. Then what happens? If they are lesser in number, then they are going to occupy the highest position, and the least organism will be present at the topmost part of this pyramid. Okay, so what happens here in aquatic ecosystem, the grassland communities, autotrophs are present and they are large in number. Okay, a lesser the number of the herbivorous animals, which in turn will support few of the carnivores. So this is how the number pyramid is going to be made, and this is made on the basis of the number of individuals which are present in the ecosystem. Okay, which are present in that particular area, which are present in that particular part. So if we talk about aquatic ecosystem, it is having the less number of the individuals over there. Okay, and if we talk about the grassland, if we talk about the forest, then the number of the animals, number of the producer will be more, then the consumers will also be more, but that is not going to be more than that of the producer. So the number keeps on decreasing. It is based upon the number of producer, it is based upon the number of consumer, it is also based upon the number of types of consumers. Not only it is based upon the producer, it is based upon the number of consumers. Okay, so this is a very fact that it is based upon the number of the individuals present on each and every trophic level. Okay, now if the animals are more, trophic level is going to be increased. If the animals are less, trophic levels will be less. And you can make this food chain, which is represented in the form of chain, could also be represented in the form of the pyramid. Okay, so that was about the pyramid of number. Now I move on to the next pyramid, that is pyramid of biomass. Okay, so what is it? Biomass means it is a sum total of all the living part in the organism. Okay, in any organism, whether we are talking about plant or we are talking about animals. Okay, so the number of in the quantity of the living part which is present in the organism is known as the biomass. Okay, living mass. Mass means the quantity. Which quantity? It is the quantity of the living matter in the particular living organism. So this is going to make the pyramid of biomass. Okay, so this was all about the pyramid of pyramids of number and pyramid of biomass. I'll discuss this again. So this is based upon this today. So we have completed the new topic, that is the pyramid. So I have introduced the topic why pyramid is being made. Pyramid is always the representation of the food chain and the food webs. Okay, and it is always a representation of food chain maximum times. Food web will also be represented by the pyramids, but it will be in a different manner. Fine. And the food chain is always going to be represented in the form of pyramid of number, pyramid of energy, pyramid of biomass. It is of three types. So we have discussed about the first type, that is pyramid of number, in detail, and I'll discuss more pyramids and more information about the pyramids in the next video. So children, today we have studied about the new topic, that is biological magnification and the pyramids of different types. Okay, and in that I have also discussed the different the first type of the pyramid, that is pyramid of number. Okay, so you could make and practice some more pyramids of number in your copy, and you could give me your work for correction. Okay, so this was all about the pyramids, and I'll meet you all in the next video with the next topics to be discussed. Okay, so children, that's all for today's video. I will meet you all in the next class.